Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've ever wanted to hit that almost mythical milestone of 100 uninterrupted push-ups, we've got some incredibly fascinating source material to dig into today. We're going to look at a method that completely flips standard fitness advice right on its head. It's all about working smarter, pushing way past your perceived limits, and honestly, changing the way you view this exercise altogether. So let's just dive right in.
Are your push-ups a joke? I know, it's a totally blunt question, but let's be honest with ourselves for a second. Are you stuck? You get down on the floor, you pump out 20, maybe 30 reps if you're having a really fantastic day and you've had enough coffee, but then you just hit an absolute impenetrable wall. That magic 100-rep goal feels completely impossible, right? You're trying, you're absolutely putting in the effort, but you're just trapped in this endless, frustrating plateau.
Section 1. The 100 push-up plateau, and why your current routine isn't working.
Here is the cold, hard truth drawn directly from our source material. Traditional workout methods are actively failing you. You're stuck because the way you've been programmed to train by standard gym culture is literally preventing you from building the specific type of muscular stamina you need to hit triple digits. Think about the old standard, 3 sets of 10. Our source material calls this out, point blank, as a garbage waste of time. When you do these standard bite-sized sets, you're really just training for basic, everyday volume. But if you want to hit 100 reps, the actual goal you need to be targeting is insane endurance. You have to train your muscles to survive and function under intense, prolonged stress, rather than just doing a quick 30 seconds of work and taking a comfortable break.
Section 2. Embracing progressive failure, the elite-level secret.
So how do we actually fix this plateau? Well, the source gives us a massive, really aggressive shift in mindset. Stop counting sets and start embracing failure. We are completely upending your approach to volume here, because the biggest mistake people make in their physical training is stopping the exact moment it feels hard. To hit 100 push-ups, you have to smash through that wall. If you want 100 reps, you have got to throw away your neat little notebook of perfectly counted sets and reps. You need to stop worrying about the number on the page and start actively seeking out total, complete muscle exhaustion.
The actual mechanics of how we achieve that exhaustion come down to what's called the progressive failure ladder. This involves moving from the hardest push-up variation you can possibly manage, stepping down to the easiest with absolutely zero rest in between. It becomes one giant, brutal rep-building set. The core principle here, and I literally cannot stress this enough, it is completely non-negotiable, is total muscle exhaustion and zero rest. If you rest, the ladder breaks. You have to be ready to really earn these reps.
Section 3. The 4-step ladder, the zero-rest progression.
All right, let's look at the clinical breakdown of exactly how this methodology works in practice. According to our source material, this brutal 4-step progression is the only way you're getting from your current 10 or 20 reps all the way up to that 100-rep milestone. Let's walk through the sequence. Step 1 is the decline bomb. You prop your feet up on a bench or a chair. This is the hardest variation. You drive these out until complete muscle failure, meaning your form breaks and you literally cannot get your chin to the ground anymore. Then, with zero hesitation, you move straight into step 2, the full rep grind. Drop your feet to the floor immediately and hit as many perfect, normal push-ups as you possibly can. Your arms are already deeply fatigued from step 1, which is exactly the point. Next, again with absolutely no break, is step 3, the incline relief. Grab that chair or a counter, elevate your hands, and grind out every single rep until you physically cannot push yourself back up. Finally, step 4, the knee finisher. Drop to your knees and squeeze it out until your muscles completely give up.
Fail and move on. Just let that sink in for a second. In most normal workouts, failing means you've messed up, or you lifted way too heavy, or maybe you're just having a weak day. But here, failing on that full rep grind, failing on the incline stage, that is exactly what we want. Failure is the explicit goal of each and every step. The very second you fail, you do not take a breather. You immediately downgrade the difficulty of the movement and you just keep attacking the muscle.
And that brings us to the absolute brutality of the final step. The knee finisher is where real gains are forged. By the time you reach this 4th step, your chest, your shoulders, your triceps, they should be absolutely screaming at you. You're doing knee push-ups, a movement normally considered super easy, but right now, under this intense fatigue, they are going to feel like pushing the earth away from you. The source explicitly instructs you to squeeze out every single last drop of energy you have. Do not stop until your arms physically give out and you just collapse onto the floor. Section 4, the Beast Routine, your weekly commitment.
So, you know the mechanics of the ladder now. You fully understand the zero-rest, failure-driven mindset required. But how often do you actually need to put yourself through this torture to see real results? Let's look at the specific schedule required by the source. The volume here is seriously demanding, but it's what separates the elite from the amateurs. First, you run that entire 4-step ladder, meaning that one giant, brutal, uninterrupted set we just walked through. Second, you do this 2 to 3 times per day. And third, you repeat that entire daily process 3 to 4 times a week. Yeah, you heard that right. It is not a once-a-week novelty challenge to show off to your friends. It is a strict, recurring commitment to pushing your body to absolute exhaustion multiple times a day, several days a week. That is how the endurance is actually built.
Which leads us perfectly to our final, provocative question, a direct challenge from the source text. Will you stop training like an amateur and start training like a beast? Getting to 100 push-ups is not a matter of genetics. It is entirely a matter of methodology and pure willpower. You've got the blueprint now. You know that those comfortable 3 sets of 10 just won't cut it anymore. It is all about executing that progressive failure ladder. The only question left is whether you are willing to embrace the discomfort, push entirely past the wall, and grind until you physically collapse. So, are you ready to hit the floor right now?